Hi, I'm Jud from the Gaithersburg Book Festival, and I'm here with one of our dear partners, Lissa Muscatine, co-owner of one of the world's beloved independent bookstores, Politics Prose. Lissa, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So for those who haven't been to our event, what would you tell them about the Gaithersburg Book Festival?
Well, they have to go, obviously. It's a great day. I mean, how many places in the world can you essentially go into your backyard and find great authors talking about books, people who love books, in a really lovely setting? And it's a community gathering, and it's a community gathering around books, and I think it reminds us that books really bring people together. They're equalizers. Everybody loves books, everybody loves stories, everybody likes to think about issues, and you can do it all in one place, in one beautiful setting, in one day.
And you guys will be our bookseller, and we're always excited to have you there.
And we are really proud to be partnering with you all. And as you know, obviously we did it last year, and this is our second year. So it's great for us to try to be part of a local book festival that's really, gaining steam and getting a lot of attention.
Politics Prose is famous probably first and foremost for its author events. You guys do an astonishing number of author events every year, somewhere around 500.
Right.
What do you think makes author events so special?
Well, you're right. We do sometimes 3 or 4 a day, which is kind of staggering when you stop and think about it. And we're lucky because we really get the top authors, fiction, nonfiction, and a lot of debut authors, which we purposely do. But again, it's a place where people in our community can come and in a small physical space, see an author up close and personal, hear their opinions about their book, ask them questions face to face. You really don't get to do that in this digital age that we live in very much. You don't get to do that on the internet in the same way. There's a kind of humanizing community element to it. It's just a unique experience, and it can only be done in a bricks and mortar community sort of setting.
So you and your husband, Bradley Graham, bought Politics Prose a couple years ago.
Yeah.
What attracted you to the opportunity?
Well, it was a fluke. I mean, we weren't planning on buying a bookstore at any point. We'd never really thought about it. And when the store was put up for sale, there was kind of a collective anxiety that spread over Washington because it's such an institution and such a landmark in the whole region, really. And we just sort of got into it late. My husband actually was the one who thought about doing it. Some friends kind of urged him. And I was, quite frankly, rolling my eyes going, okay, you go for it. Yeah, you're going to own Politics Prose, right? And then, as it turned out, it took months and months and months for the sale process, and we both got more invested in the idea and realized we both had been writers, journalists, and I in government, and that owning a bookstore was sort of what we'd been doing anyway, which we call the intersection of words and ideas in just a different kind of setting. And to be part of a community institution was really appealing. So we're just very, very grateful that it worked out for us.
And it's an extraordinary community. So you and Brad live in Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Politics Prose is in D.C., but only about a mile south of the Chevy Chase Circle.
Right.
Make the case for why a Montgomery County resident should make the trip to the store.
Well, first of all, like you said, it's not that far. We're very close to the Montgomery County line. But even for people in the up-county areas, I think it's worth coming. An independent bookstore is a community institution. First of all, your dollars spent there are supporting jobs and businesses in your community and your region. Secondly, we have a staff of booksellers who are like curators. They're experts. They have read everything. They can sit and engage you and to find out a book that you might like. They'll recommend things. You're not going to get that online where an algorithm will be telling you that if you like book A, you might like book B. These people actually will have a real conversation with you. We have a tremendous inventory, again, highly curated, 60,000, 70,000 books. And we have all these other programs. We have book groups, we have classes, we have the author events, we have a printing, self-publishing machine that can print books for people who want to write their own books. So there's just a lot of areas that you can sort of dive into in that store.
So tell us about you for a minute. Let's tell us about your career.
Well, I started off as a journalist and originally worked in a tiny newspaper in Mississippi, but then ended up in Washington, worked for you have to be a certain age to remember the Washington Star, but I worked for the Washington Star. It went under. I went to the Washington Post, was there for a while. That's where I met Brad, who was a journalist for the Post for a long time. And then I went into government, worked in the Clinton administration as a presidential speechwriter, and then later was chief speechwriter to Hillary Clinton, was collaborator on her book Living History, worked on her other books. Then was on her presidential campaign, and then was her director of speechwriting in the State Department for the first 18 months or so.
So being close to Hillary, if you want to really get some views on this video, you have any announcements about her plans for 2016?
Well, if it were left up to me, yes, I would have an announcement. But since it's really not up to me, I will have to play it safe and say what I know to be true, which is that she hasn't made up her mind yet. I think she needs to rest. I think we all agree that she deserves a little bit of time off. But I do, I don't think she's closing the door on it. I also don't think she's fully committed to doing it. But there are those out there who, I think, millions of people probably are hoping she will.
Right. So what books are you recommending these days?
Well, it's really funny, Jud, because when I was in government, I had to read so much nonfiction that I thought that was what I really loved to read. And now that I don't have to read nonfiction, I am reading so much more fiction. And there's so much good fiction. And so there are a couple new books coming out this spring that I highly recommend. One is And the Mountains Echoed, Khalid Hosseini's new book, which is terrific. I just read The Galley. The Woman Upstairs by Claire Massoud, a book that's out that didn't get enough attention that we're sort of pushing in the store, A Partial History of Lost Causes by Jennifer Dubois. It's a very smart book, really terrific. And then my nonfiction one that I'm recommending, which is kind of, people will not probably really pay attention to this, has a funny title. It's called A Dog Walks into a Nursing Home, which sounds like, what's that about? And it's written by this brilliant author and editor at the New York Review of Books, and it's about how she and her dog become a therapy team at a county-run nursing home in Vermont, and the life lessons learned through this dog. It's an extraordinary book. It's entertaining, it is incredibly humane, and it's very, very provocative about what it means to age and sort of the things that make life worthwhile as you get older.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
I'm actually thinking about running out here and getting it now.
Yeah, it's going to be out in a couple months. I think it comes out in May. I'll get you Galley.
Okay. Thanks, Lissa.
Yeah.
And, thank you for joining us here today and giving us the inside story of Politics and Prose and your involvement with the book festival. Lissa and her colleagues will be with us on May 18th in the book sales tent. Go in, buy a book, say hello to our friends. Together, we'll be welcoming more than 100 terrific authors at the Gaithersburg Book Festival. Find out all the details on our website. Happy reading, folks. We'll see you in Gaithersburg.